Sup, dudes? I'm super roasted right now. See my skin? Oh my god. It's because I'm in Maui and I spent 12 hours at the beach yesterday. And I put sunscreen on, but I was out there for too long. And here's the deal. I want to go over. I want to do this Q&A. We're gonna have a little Q&A on our hands, buds. So I actually just started this. I already started doing it on what's it called? Photo booth. But the video just froze, But I was 5 minutes in, so let's just restart here. Okay, let's go from the tip top, and let's just jump into it, you guys. Seriously. Okay. So Samuel T says, when arranging slash learning a piece, how much music theory do you utilize, if any? I don't use any. I just listen to the way it sounds. Well, maybe I was gonna say maybe there's a little bit of theory used in the very, very beginning, when it comes to figuring out the key and all that, but that's not even true because I can just tell what the key is based on I just think of the note that would sound like it would end the piece, and then that's kind of how I used to think about it. I can do it. I just kind of figure it out now. But not really. No, not any theory really. Stephen Lopez, do you have a girlfriend, and what state do you live in? Yes, I do, and I live in Michigan. You told us, Pablo Tavares says, you told us you were in choir at one point. When are you starting to do Justin Bieber covers, ? I have no plans on doing Justin Bieber covers, but never say never. And he says, on a serious note though, what do you usually listen to, man? Do you have a Spotify playlist to share with us? I don't, and I probably should. It's a good idea. But I most definitely listen to not much music, but check out Anomaly. He's a dude I really, really like right now. Check out the album Metropole. Dan H says, how did you get into playing music in general? Family influence? First instruments? So my dad played guitar and was in bands all his life and was a country songwriter all through growing up. And he was definitely my main influence and probably why I started playing guitar in the first place. I wanted to play drums initially, but they were so loud, and my dad kind of egged me towards guitar. So I'm pretty sure that's how it started. Oh my god. Bennett Batsley. Play any electric guitar? No, but I used to. That's how I started. What are qualities you typically look for in a game? I don't really care that much about story. I don't know. I like a nice sense of progression. I like feeling like what I'm doing matters. I like there to be some element of skill. I like that, or some kind of building. I don't know. Stuff that I feel like is stupid, like UI stuff that's stupid, or like design choices that are stupid or seem clunky, really bug me a lot. But I don't know. Game feel and progression. Do you have any off the cuff hot tips for our tips that you can drop on us right now? I got one from memory. If you guys are performing, what I like to do is, it's good to have something in your muscle memory, but what happens is when you're learning a new thing, you have it in your brain first. It's like, oh, I go to 2, then I go to 1, and then I put my third finger here, I gotta make this shape. Eventually that kind of goes away, and you learn it in your muscles, and then it's muscle memory, and that's what you want. But what happens to me sometimes is when I'm performing, I get really anxious, and I start to think too much. So I start to try to access information that is gone. So the type of information that when you first learn a piece, the piece exists as. So I think sometimes it's good to, while you're going through something, if you have to perform, really think about like where does my finger go next? What do I really do that? Am I really supposed to like what's this position supposed to be? Like do I play this note or this note? And because I end up thinking that way when I'm performing, so if I'm going to think that way and I can't help it, then sometimes it's good for me to, well, it's always good for me to practice like that. Tio Salsa. At which age did you start learning guitar? I was about 9. Do you have another job non-related to music? No, I do not. Griffin is actually your last name? Yes. Is that because you are my mythological creature? Yes. Cheers. Thank you, Tio. Jonah Kunze. What was your favorite personal arrangement? Maybe the one, I like a lot of them, but one of the ones that sticks out is the Flowers of Antimony, the Shovel Knight one. Which piece impressed you most because it was easy to play but did sound really good? There's been several. I feel like Fisherman's Horizon worked out really well as an arrangement. And it's not too hard, but there's a lot of... It almost seems like something that was written for guitar, in a way. Have you played ragtime before you started playing Nintendo songs? No. No ragtime. No history of ragtime. I don't think there's much of a ragtime tradition on guitar, but I could be wrong about that. Maybe you know more about that than me. Daniel Urek. Hey, bro. Do you crazy glue cracked nails? You the man. I don't. I don't do anything. I just hope I don't crack my nails. But that has happened. Like before I had to play, I like busted some nail, and then I have to like file the nail all the way down, and my nail sucks. That does suck. One time I really destroyed my ring finger nail, and I put on a fake nail. I shaved it down, and then I put on a fake nail. Which the reason I did it is because one of the students, the other guitar students, gave me that advice. I was really nervous to do it because I'd never done it. I swear to God, this finger never felt better. Never, ever. Moving on, Adrian Habik. Yes, man, finally. It's like the most Q&A-ish question ever, but how old are you? I'm 32. 33. I just had a birthday. And what's your favorite band / musical inspiration? Probably favorite band is the Punch Brothers. And musical inspiration, I'll probably say Agustin Barrios. As far as like musical inspiration, I feel like I really got into classical guitar. Really like fell in love with classical guitar because of his stuff, specifically the John Williams recording of his stuff. It's one of the first things I got my hands on and just loved it. Greetings from Germany. What up, Germany? Jay Lee. What do you like to do in your free time when you're not playing guitar? Video games. I like to watch stuff. I'm in Maui right now. I love to surf, so I'm doing that. Me and my sister started a tennis class thing, so we started playing a little bit of tennis. And just, dicking around on my phone like I shouldn't. Rodrigo Garcia Sarodio. What's your all-time favorite game and why? Cheers, Sam. I want to say probably between like Earthbound and Super Metroid, but I'm kind of going to say Super Metroid, and I think it's just because how effectively that game does what it's trying to do, and I feel like so many elements in that game all come together perfectly, like the music, the atmosphere, the way the game feels, the art design, all of it, just and it's like exactly what it wants to be. Thank you, Rodrigo. Ben Haskett, have you been surprised by the popularity or lack thereof of any of your arrangements? The Evil Morty theme has 3 times the amount of views as its runner-up, and meanwhile, All I Want for Christmas, one of your best IMO, is almost criminally underwatched, relatively speaking. Is there a song in particular that you look back on and think, man, I really thought that would have been more popular? The exact one you mentioned is the All I Want for Christmas. I thought that one had a chance of like, if anyone's gonna go like viral, it's like this one, just because like my dad and it's such a weird song to do on guitar. I I thought that one was gonna like slay really hard, but it didn't. And I feel like there's one more recently that that I thought was gonna work really well. Oh, actually, no, that's more on the Super Tarbro side. I thought the Goosebumps video, our cover of the Goosebumps thing, was gonna do better, but it didn't. Just because I love that one so much, and I think it's such a cool tune. The Evil Morty one was very much like planned. It was very much like, okay, the season finale is coming out. What are people going to be thinking about? What do people want to happen? Probably Evil Morty is the thing that's going to happen, which didn't. But in a way, I get it, but in a way, I also don't get it because it's like you said, like way more than like the next runner up. So I don't know. I feel like it's the initial boost it got, sort of like had the algorithm snag it. Like if you can get a really nice view boost early on, then I think that the algorithm goes, okay, this video is sick, this one's doing good, we're going to push this on people. And then it gets more, you just get more views. The more views you get, the more views you get. It's like, it's like accruing gravity. Interesting question though, man. Show us them nails, bro, close up. What you're out and about. Oh, show us some nails, bro. I mean, the problem is that it's out of focus here. I'll try to get my crap back in focus, but afterwards, but they look like that. This is how they look. Right, my thumb looks like this. Like that. Okay, now let's see if I can get this focus back on me. It's hard to get refocused. That feels close. When you're out and about, do non-guitar players ever recoil at your fingernails or ask about them? Yes. I've had that with girls, actually, which, makes sense. It's weird. My wife recognizes my nails as a necessary evil, but makes no bones about the fact that she doesn't like them. Exactly. Along those same lines, I saw in a past video you eating chips with chopsticks. Was that good old-fashioned YouTube showmanship or something you practice in everyday life to protect your nails? Are there any other unique things you do to protect them in everyday life? No, actually, the chopsticks are to protect my sanity, because I hate getting stuff on my hands, and I also hate getting stuff on like controllers and keyboards and mouses and guitars. So it's a great way of eating some chips without having to touch anything. I don't really do anything specifically to try to protect my nails, but what the thing that always messes them up is like I'm trying to grab a handle or something and my finger slips off and that'll catch it. So if I have to play a show, I'll just try to be like extra cautious about stuff like that. Thank you, Ben. Nice cues, bro. Matthias Nunes. Do you have a practice routine for honing your technique? No. If yes, what do you do exactly? I actually don't. I just kind of like, I work on pieces, which is probably not a good thing because my scale runs, I don't think are as good as they should be after playing this long. But the thing is that they just don't happen that often in pieces, so I've had not much of a chance to practice them. But if I specifically practice them, I'd be better at them. I find that the older you get, the harder it is to find time to practice just practice instead of playing. I disagree with that, but that's partially because, part of my adulting has to do with playing guitar. That's how I make money. So it's like, maybe if I had a job, like a normal job, then I would agree with that. But, for me personally, that's not really the case. Rodolfo Lopez, what kind of exercises do you do to get them picking fingers so nice and fluid during all those complicated licks? I.e., Guile's theme. Honestly, it's not, like I said, not really any exercises. I just kind of play the pieces, and if there's a part in a piece that is particularly hairy, I'll just focus on that and go over that like over and over again. Playing slow is really important. It's always good to play slow. Loic, Kreuter. What's the best way to learn do re mi up the whole neck? First positions are easy, but upwards from 5th fret, it's too hard for me. Scales? So I don't really know any scales. I can kind of do them by ear, sort of. But, like, starting from any position, I can go do 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 do. But that's just, I don't know the scale. I know what the next note is going to sound like, and then the next note is going to sound like from there, and then the next note. But I can't do big leaps. That's more of like a gamble. Probably the best way, I'll probably just learn all the natural notes on the guitar neck. I don't even know those myself, so, you're on your own for that, unfortunately. Jonathan Masick. Hey, Sam. I always wondered what game soundtracks might have gotten you into video game music in general. It all started with Zelda for me, which was a gateway into Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts music. Without those, I might never have dived into the rabbit hole that led me to your awesome covers originals. Well, first of all, thank you. I mean, I'm sure I always was into the music that was in the video games I was playing, like, even like Mario Bros. 3. I'm sure I was like bopping along to that stuff. I just don't really remember. Probably not till PlayStation. I feel like it wasn't until I got a little bit older that I really started to get into video game music as a thing. Like, I feel like PlayStation and Nintendo 64 era is when I started to really appreciate and listen to video game music as video game music. Any specific games, like maybe the Final Fantasy games. Definitely was into, like I said, like the Zelda stuff, Ocarina of Time. Banjo-Kazooie I loved. And that actually came with a soundtrack, I believe. And that was really cool, because it's like, oh, actually, you know what? I remember now. I think it was always a bit on my radar, but more consciously when I was like a little bit older, and it was PS1 and 64. And then from then on, that was it. Earl von Wagner. The fourth. Do you put the toilet paper roll over itself like the good Lord intended, or do you put it under itself like a monster? Dude, I'm on the side of the Lord, dude. I'm not some seedy underbelly, underputter. That ain't me, dog. Cecily Della Torres. Growing up, were you a Sega boy or a Nintendo boy? Definitely, though I had both, I was more of a Nintendo boy. Were you always interested in playing video game music on guitar? Not really. Didn't really get interested in that until later. I feel like once I kind of got better at guitar, and it was more of like a feasible thing for me, and I got better at learning things on guitar, like by ear, then it was like a thing of like, oh, I can figure this out. I can play this. Was the picture of you and Steve on that cover of Nice inspired by Tim and Eric? Awesome show, great job. That's all. First of all, I love Tim and Eric. That's like one of my favorite things of all time. I think the impetus for that was the first thought was, we want to do something silly. Let's do something that looks like a yearbook, like an old yearbook photo, with like funny background and like laser beams in the back with like goofy looking clothes on. And I think we like just looked around for stuff that was like that, and eventually we did stumble across that Tim and Eric photo, but that wasn't really the main inspiration. Shay McNair. Where do you ideally see yourself in 10 years? Are you satisfied with what you're doing here on Patreon /YouTube, or do you hope to have something different by then? Much love, Sam. Happy birthday. Do you think you, Shay? If things are exactly the same as they are in 10 years, I feel like I'd be kind of I'd definitely be disappointed in myself. Am I satisfied with what I'm doing here on Patreon and YouTube? Yes. The only thing I'm not satisfied with is I wish that I had more of a presence of original music on YouTube. Just because, and that's not a money thing at all. Like I'm really happy with the way my life is right now because of like the whole Patreon thing and YouTube. It's like really like the coolest job I could possibly have. I like it. It's really good. But like almost artistically, I really wish that I had pushed more on the original song front. And hopefully in 10 years, that's more of like a serious thing, you know. Hopefully like I'll have some albums and maybe I'll be doing more with original music. Thank you, Shay. Lucas, free Shay. Hello, Sam. When can we see that sweet Via Purifico tab? Haha, I got it up a little while ago. Nah, JK. I was wondering if you had some favorite books that you could share with us. Any genre of literature. Cheers, man. Yeah, man, you guys need to read, favorite thing I've read, like, ever is this book called Children of Time. Check that shit out. That shit is dope if you're into some sci-fi. Evan Dixon. How do you prevent carpal tunnel from guitar? I don't know. I've never thought about it. I've never had any problems. You know, hopefully that doesn't happen. But I don't really know. I'm sure most of it is proper technique. Probably. Try not to do anything too extreme. Try not to bend your shit in extreme ways. I'm a big fan of like things should be as neutral as they possibly can be. You know, wrists straight, fingers nice and relaxed. Everything as close to this as possible. Also, did you go to Berkeley? No. You're fucking virtuosic, man. Love you, dude. Thank you. I love you too. I did not go to Berkeley, and I think that's too strong a compliment. I'm good. I don't feel like I'm virtuosic. You guys also got to keep in mind that the recordings are, they're not real in a way. It's like I played all the parts, but some of those recordings, that might be 20 takes all strung together, all edited together. So I think it's important that you guys realize that, and that it makes me look better than I am. Just so you know. The other thing is I haven't had to play actually, in about a month and a half, I have to play a solo show by myself, 40 minutes of music, which I haven't done in a long time, and I'm really, really practicing hard for it. Thank you though. I gotta learn to say thank you sometimes too. Oh, Evan Dixon also said, found out you went to WSU, that's Wayne State University. So I'm curious as how did college benefit you most? I guess, what do you take from WSU that you couldn't find outside of that environment? Number one, all the Final Fantasy shows that I've done, and the show I'm doing, where the conductor wrote a piece for me to play. It's like 25 minutes of music that he wrote, like specifically for me to play. That was all from school, but it was random. It was like my they asked my guitar teacher to do it, and he couldn't. He asked me to do it, I could. That led to many more shows, and but that's just kind of a random thing. It cleaned up my right hand technique for sure. I had this bad habit of like extending my pinky, and it would be like locked, and like not locked but tense. Like anything that's weird like this usually means tension, because the most relaxed thing you can do is this, right? This is no tension. So it was good to kind of get that all worked out, you know. Joan N. Grobler says, how big is your dick? Evan King says, I second this. Pablo's versus at least one. I have a micro penis. John Ashner, what is the process like / how do you go about arranging your pieces? Do you compose first on paper or start writing on guitar? I just learned it straight on guitar and I just start memorizing it like right away. Sometimes I'll use a video recording and record like what I have of it. Let's say I work out like, one evening I'll work out, 20 seconds. Then I'll record those 20 seconds. So, next time I pick it up, the next day I won't have forgotten it all. Or if I do forget it, it's there, I don't have to re-figure it out. Usually it works like this. I figure out the key I want to play it in first. That means that I have to import the song into Studio One. From there, I can like mess with the transposition. I can move the song up or down to a key that I feel like makes sense. I'll try a few different keys on. Usually, the main thing that determines the key is how high does the song go. If I need to go really, really high up on the neck, that's kind of a no-go. Means the thing has to be lower. And then, what are the chord shapes? How often are like open strings being utilized? If something is really complicated and there's like a droning note, then it'd be nice if that droning note, that droning low note, is an open string, because then that frees me up to do other stuff. So there's a number of things that go into choosing the key, but that's the first thing. And from there, I just start playing it over and over again, and just trying to copy what I'm hearing on the fretboard. But there's no specific process that I use, and nothing is written down until later, and I don't even write it down. It's my tab guy Morrow writes all that stuff down. Mario Swami says, what really inspired you to start making your own arrangements? Do you have any general tips for people who would want to try? So originally it was necessity, because I didn't really know that tabs were a thing, or that I could get them on the internet. One of the first things I arranged was, or not really arranged, but I figured out Classical Gas on guitar, and that was just from an MP3, and that was that's a guitar song that I figured out on guitar. So not really an arrangement, just kind of like trying to copy it, but I think that was really valuable in like getting me better at arranging. In fact, that's what I recommend you guys do if you want to start arranging, is start trying to learn some stuff that's already guitar, just because it's like it's one level easier, and if you can do that, then you can start learning stuff that isn't on guitar. But I learned that. I learned a Bach prelude, and then maybe one other piece, just from without the tab. Then I started learning a bunch of tabs, and then me and Steve really started arranging stuff together for Super Tarbro stuff. That's kind of where it really, I feel like, really started, like in a big way. Mark Swatishski, do you think you can handle the gourmet race? I don't know if you think you can. When I did handle it. It's almost like he's quoting a thing he said in the video. Oops, silly me. Whoosh. I don't even freaking know. Did I say that in the video?
Buddy. Javarian, man. What a great request from Kirby, dude. Yeah. Thomas Javarian, man. What a great request.
I recorded this one in Hawaii too.
Song on your guitar, buddy. Do you think you can handle the gourmet race?
I did say that, didn't I? I don't remember saying that. But I was super sunburned then too, and which worked out. I looked extra red and pink. And was I chewing gum there? Oh, I was eating chips. Yeah, I was in Maui for that one too. Man, I'm back, baby. What else we got? Isaac Ensing. Hey, Sam. I wanted to buy a new classical guitar. The only one I have is a very old hand-me-down that doesn't sound too great, but I don't really know where to start. What are some important things to consider when buying? Is a 1,000 Canadian, CAD, is that Canadian? I don't know. About $750 USD at reasonable price range. I'm looking for something that will sound and feel good, but not too fancy or expensive. Can you briefly go over the equipment you use to record? Yeah, so No, that's enough. You can get like a good guitar for that. I would look at the Cordoba guitars and see what fits within that range. Um, that's what I always tell people, just because I've had some students who have gotten some Cordobas and they turn out real good for the money. Um, the equipment I use to record, I use my audio interface is a Scarlett Focusrite 18i8. My you don't need 18 or you don't need 8 inputs or outputs or whatever. You can just do the one with the 2 inputs. But I do use 2 mics. I think that's important. Panned, hard left, hard right. And I use 2 Rode NT5s to record with. And that's pretty much it. And then that goes into Studio One, which is my DAW of choice. And the Isotope Ozone maximizer is nice for getting stuff nice and loud. And that's it, really. Pretty simple. Dan Albertson, what's your social security number and date of birth? I'm going to go ahead and go to the next one, which is Isaac Anson's social security number. I'll tell you this, it starts with 3, okay? I'll tell you that one number. Isaac Ensing. Oh, one more question. What is your favorite piece of classical music or a composer? Maybe my favorite piece, I don't know, is probably, have you guys ever heard the Adagio? Wait, is that what it's called? Wait, let me look this up. Adagio for Strings by Samuel Barber. I love that. I love like tons of Chopin stuff. I love Barrios for guitar stuff. But yeah, that frickin' Adagio is amazing. I've recently fallen in love with Dvorak's Symphony Number 9. Oh, I should peep that. Oh, and then he links it. So yeah, let's all click that link and check that out. Squillennial. Did you learn to read sheet music in conjunction with learning guitar, or did you convert from tabs to reading music? Do you have recommendations for people who know sheet music in terms of piano for learning it for guitar? Well, if you know it on piano first, that's definitely an advantage. You just got to transfer them notes over the guitar. I'm really not the best person to ask about this because I am not good at reading music. I can figure it out, but I'm not good at reading. I've relied really heavily on tabs and memorizing stuff, which is sometimes to my detriment. But yeah, I wish I could help you out more with that. Hadoukek says, "How are you today, cutie?" I'm good, babe. A little sunburnt today because I spent way too much time at the beach yesterday surfing. So I'm just kind of chilling out today, just practicing, doing this and do some shit inside. Ray Suarez, how long did it take for you to be able to figure things out by ear comfortably? I know it's probably something that just comes with putting in a lot of time and playing and practice, or maybe it's just some kind of innate gift. But do you have any tips on attaining that? Maybe in terms of something to focus on for practice and drilling. Okay. I remember trying to learn that classical gas song, and that was really hard, and it took me a long time, and it was a big struggle. I think I was always kind of trying to figure stuff out, but that was the first major guitar piece that I tried to figure out. But I just sat there just playing it over and over and over again. Trying to figure out one little chord or whatever, and a lot of trial and error, a lot of okay, I know this bass note, I figured that much. Is it this note, or is it this note? And just trying all those different notes out. And I still do that, to this day. But it absolutely gets faster and easier over time. You just got to get in there and start doing it. Just start trying to do it. What I would highly recommend is finding some relatively easy classical guitar music and figuring that out by ear, not looking at the tab. And then if you can do that, you can do anything, really. But you want to be able to, at any given time, tell what the bass is and the melody. That's the most important thing. and usually the bass is a little tougher. So work on following the bass, and if you just listen to music, try to like listen to what is the bass here. 2. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? I don't remember, unfortunately. I like that movie too. Cody Bond, nail length and maintenance tools. Yeah, baby, you just need a glass nail file and a some little 1500 grit sandpaper if you're feeling lucky. That's it. I keep my nails relatively short, as you guys saw from earlier. Shorter than most people. It's if I look at, from the flesh side, they're just a hair over the flesh of the finger. Hey ya. This is Bear. It says, hey ya. New to this Patreon thingy, but I'd just like to say love your covers. You're a huge inspiration to me and give me a lot of motivation to continue playing guitar for some reason. Aw, thank you. That's awesome. Though I've noticed you use a guitar support and I wouldn't mind knowing what brand it is, and do you recommend getting one? And, I use a Gitano guitar support. It's cheap. Well, it's not super cheap, but it's very small. It works great. I love it. I used to use a footstool, but I like this way more. Is it the best guitar support? I have no idea. I've actually had 2 break on me from the suction cup ripping. Try to be careful with this more recent one, but it's starting to rip, so this will be my 3rd Gitano. So I might try something else, something different, but I'd like it to be small enough to fit in my case. That is nice. I do highly recommend getting guitar support. I like it way more than a footstool. Ben says, I have a piggyback question for that. Sam, why the support? Do you always use it instead of a footstand, or was it something you transitioned to more recently? Yeah, I got on that thing, probably a few years ago, and I never looked back, man. That thing is amazing. It's nice for a number of reasons. I think it's better for your body because you don't have to have your one leg up, so you get to keep your hips level, which is good if you're practicing for a long period of time. And it's also nice because it's smaller, so it's less to carry around. It's nice for recording too, because you can put the mic anywhere and you don't have to worry about like, where am I going to put my footstool in relation to the mic. You just have your support and you can move your body all around. I have a swivel chair when I record, and I can turn and stuff. I don't have to move my footstool, so that's nice. Mitchell Hampton, bro, why are you so good, dude? You just gotta practice, man. You just gotta play a bunch, man. I used to suck, dude. I used to suck. Can I borrow your talent for a few days to pick up chicks? You can, but I haven't had any luck picking up chicks with a guitar. The only way to pick up chicks is to just be centered in yourself as a man. Olger, Olher, Calderon, Chico. When starting your career, did you struggle playing solo in front of other people? Any tips you want to share? Thanks a lot. Yes, absolutely. I totally did, and I still do. I still have a hard time doing that. I used to be so nervous. There was a time where I got so nervous that my leg would shake, and it was horrible. My guitar would bounce on my leg. It was horrible. But the first time me and Steve played PAX, I threw up in the bathroom, hours before, just because I was so nervous. But the only tip I have is just to do it. You just have to do it. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Period. Performance is a separate thing you have to work on. So, and it's okay it also really important, it's okay to mess up. It's okay to have bad things happen on stage. It's actually a really good thing. One time I was playing a show, Final Fantasy show, playing a piece, just a solo guitar piece, and I completely blanked in the middle of it. I went back, I restarted a section, and I got up to the spot, and I completely blanked again. Restarted, got up to that section, and I just skipped all the way over it. So, I've had the worst happen, man. It's good for you. because you realize you're not going to die and it's okay. And that and hopefully you get a little free to that fear, but you just got to do it a lot. Jared Kane Corbet. Is there a particular artist outside of your current circle that you wish you could collaborate with? Who would it be, and what would the collaboration be? Outside of my, I don't really think about that very much. I don't really think much about collaboration. Be awesome to write something for that anomaly, dude. I would love that. Also says, you have the same birthday as my sister, apparently. My deepest condolences. Oh, sick, dude. It's all in the fam. Ground Falcowed. Have you ever pronounced my name? Are you ever going to pronounce my name properly? No. No. Ground Falcowed. More seriously, what is your biggest weakness as a guitarist? Ooh. I want to say it's nerves, but a lot of people have that. A lot of people really have that. Fast scales, maybe, but that's because I never really worked on that. But that's a lot of people have a hard time with that too. I think it's just that I'm lazy. I'm a little lazy when it comes to practicing technique and stuff. It's anyone's biggest weakness is that they're lazy, and anyone's biggest strength is that they're not. Honestly, because you can work through anything if you spend the time to iron it out. Hi, I'm from Norway. This is from Jonas Hagensen. Let me see. Hagensen. Is that like a Norwegian name? Yeah, I'm gonna see. Hagensen name, meaning family history, Danish and Norwegian. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, yes, you are from Norway. Music Monster Man. How many years of serious, dedicated practice did it take you to achieve your level of playing? Any tips for aspiring classical guitarists such as myself? Serious question is serious again, though. There was a time when I was practicing 2-3 hours a day. I was like around high school-ish. And, dude, I don't know, man. I've been playing guitar since I was 9, so 9 or 10 or something. So that's 23, 24 years or something. And, I didn't really play it super, super heavily in the beginning. Actually, I feel like I did it for a while, and then I kind of let up, and then I got into classical, and I really started to go hard. But, dude, I mean, it just takes a long freaking time, man. You just gotta keep doing it. You gotta keep going. You'll get there, dude. You'll get there. You just gotta push through those plateaus, and anything you want to be as a guitar player, you can be, but you just gotta slow down, and get into the process of it, man. It's less about the results. It's more about try to enjoy practice for practice sake. Have fun with that, man. Enjoy the journey. That's what it's about. Kevin Byram. Have you ever heard the best version of Bloody Tears from the Konami Perfect Selection album? No? Why hasn't anybody played me this yet? It took me so long to finally find this again on YouTube, but here it is. This shit is so rare that you can't even find it for purchase or download anywhere. CD came out in 1994. 2. Play anything other than classical? Are you able to shred on an electric? It's I could do what you'd assume I could do on electric. I'm not the best with a pick, but I used to use a pick all the time, so I've got some skill with a pick. I can do some stuff kind of okay. I could play this. Have you ever played or considered covering Nothing Else Matters on classical? No, I haven't. I was never super into Metallica, honestly. But a lot of my friends, well, Steve in particular, was super into Metallica coming up. But, hey, this song is sick, man. I like this. We'll leave the sound in the background, bro. Thank you, Kevin. Caleb Marks. What is your history with playing music like? As in, did you start on a steel string guitar or other instrument? What brought you to the classical guitar? I started on steel string. I started on electric. Yeah, and I started playing like the first stuff I started playing was surf music, which I still love. I had a phase where I was super into Rage Against the Machine. Went hard on that. It's pretty much like 3 phases, dude. It's like it was like surf music, Rage Against the Machine, moved to acoustic guitar. That was like a weird transition phase where I was getting closer to playing stuff that was like classical-ish. And then classical guitar, and I learned about classical guitar from like, I think downloading stuff off of LimeWire, like that Classical Gas, that Bach song I learned, and I figured out, found ClassTab.org, which is like a bunch of classical guitar tabs, and my dad's friend gave my dad an album to give me, which was that John Williams Barrios album, and around there, I don't remember exactly when, but I decided to get a classical guitar, and they got like a crappy, like, $100, no more than $300, like $100 or $200 classical guitar. And then that was it, man. And I liked classical guitar because I was self-sustained. I didn't have to be in a band. And I liked that aspect. And it just felt more impressive to me and cool that you could do so much stuff just with one person on one guitar. Maxwell Fletcher Ellie. How old are you and do you work out? I'm 33 and I go on and off with working out. Not right now because I'm like lazy about it, but because I've been trying to gain weight for years, like gain muscle, but I've recently started to feel like I go back and forth with this because I want to feel good about my body. I want to look good, so that's why I want to lift weights. But I don't actually think it's the best thing long term for the human body. I don't think we're really meant to do squats as effective as they are. I don't think we're really meant for that. And yes, I can do a backflip. I got a mean backflip. Ruahard not. That was a sick team, by the way. Thanks a lot for inspiring me and others with your guitar magic. Aw. I recently got through Home Sweet Home and working on Fisherman's Horizon. Those are great. What others would you recommend of a similar difficulty, and what is your warm-up routine? I would go for that Wind Scene. Chrono Trigger. Wind Scene is good. Pallet Town is good. I know that's an early one too. Yeah, start with those maybe. What is your warm-up routine? I do not have one. I just start playing stuff, dude. No warm-up, baby. Matt's Lange. Fancy doing a slapping tech video? Oh, man. I tried Bone Trussell the other day and ran into a brick wall, slapping with a thumb and summing specific strings at the same time. Just can't do it. It's very hard. Is there a trick to it, or is it just a matter of practicing and finding the right feel? How did you learn it? It's both, okay? One of the biggest tricks of it is that you have to do a lot of muting on your left hand. There's an amount of like getting more accurate with your finger, but you're just never, I don't know, in my experience, I can get like, okay, this whole move of slapping with your thumb and you twist your hand like this and getting your finger to ding, ding at the same time, getting a slap and a ring, that thing was really, really awkward for me. And, this is something that I learned how to do within the last, like, couple years. I never did it. So it was cool learning a brand new technique. Now, getting really accurate with that finger, that's hard. but you're never just going to be able to hit one string. I don't think. Maybe some people can do it, but in my experience, the best thing has been to like with the left hand figure out, like, let's say I want to just play the G string. I just want to play the G string, but I don't want the B string to ring out or the high E string. A lot of times it's finding a way to play it on the left hand where you can mute the B and the E string and still play and not worry if you end up hitting them on accident. But play it slow, do it over and over again, man. Do it 1,000 times. Ding, 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 over and over. Having Kingma. We gonna have another slumber party soon? Hell yeah, baby. You know it, dude. Set me up in the tent. I do want to do that, though. I do. Later in the summer. Let's do it. Storm Audio. I want to learn to arrange stuff by ear. How much music theory knowledge would you say is necessary? None. Do you have any recommendations of what to start learning? Yes. Start trying to learn, like I said, like easy classical guitar music. Just on a guitar, just start trying to translate it. The easier, the better, honestly. And then you can try to learn more complicated stuff, and then maybe start trying to learn, some easy piano music. Start arranging that. You just gotta try, man. You just gotta get in there and start messing with it. That's all it is, really. That's what I did. I didn't have some like really easy, like laid out way of doing it. I just started trying. And it was hard. I wasn't very good at it initially, but you just get better at it if you keep doing it. It'll take a long time, though. It'll take you a long time. So, like, don't, if it takes you a month to figure something out, that's a month that you've spent practicing that skill. So don't be bummed out if it takes you a while. It takes a while. It takes a while. Or maybe the ear training is more important. Ear training is great. It's really important. Just being able to identify notes and chords, that's great. Yeah, that's really important. I wouldn't worry too much about being able to identify like, oh, this is a diminished chord, this is an augmented chord, this is a major seventh. You got to be able to identify any given note and a melody, and a lot of times you can pick out an inner note, especially if it's in a musical line. The bass is important, though. You need to be able to know what the bass is at any given point. That's really important, and that's harder than a lot of people think. If you've got the melody and the bass, honestly, that's 80% of it. And a lot of times on guitar, you're not playing more than 2-3 notes at a time anyways. The inner notes, because guitar is the way it is, a lot of times if you have the bass and the melody, that's kind of locked you into not many possibilities in the middle. You're geographically bound to that position on the guitar, unless you can play the melody on a different string, and then that complicates things. But focus on the bass, focus on the melody. That's all I'll say. Any amount of ear training is good, but do it with a guitar. Do it with a guitar. Tristan Gumble, sup? Will the bros start streaming or have live concerts again sometime? Yeah, dude. We got some pretty exciting concerts coming up. I don't know if I can really talk about them, but it's gonna be some fun stuff. And we just played a gig in Virginia, Magstock, where I so bombed I had to play this. We play four-side, and I screwed up the frickin' four-side so bad. It was funny. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna stream or who knows, man. I don't know what we're gonna do. Cole Teeple. Do some people appreciate your music less because you play video game music? I do, actually. I think and no, it's not because it's video game music. It's because it's covers. I kind of appreciate it a little bit less because it's covers. I'm more proud of my original stuff. I played Hateno Village for someone one time and they liked it, but then I played a really basic arrangement of Let It Be, and it blew their mind. Wait, what is Let It Be? Oh, it's a Beatles song. Let me hear this. That just has to do, what I would say about that is that just has to do with familiarity. It's like, people are excited to hear something that they already know. Oh, so cool! It's that song that I know. Partially why my YouTube channel is successful is because like I'm playing stuff that people already know. That's why cover channels in general are a good idea. Even if your main goal is to like play original stuff, it's good. You're tapping into people's nostalgia. Your buddy just knew Let It Be already. Bennett says, this is a great question. I will be very interested in the response from someone like Sam. I think there's a lot of power in recognition when it comes to music. Exactly. Especially when someone has less musical experience, which might explain the person's response to Let It Be. Even still, I sometimes feel there's an unfair stigma that some people hold against music from video games. I'd love to hear Sam's take on that. Absolutely. I totally agree with that, Bennett. It's exactly what I said. Yeah, and then there's a bit of like, oh, if you don't know video game music, you don't play video games, it might feel like, oh yeah, video games like, like Pong and Mario and like, it's like kids stuff. It must be like kids music. But they don't realize that, sold out Final Fantasy concerts with 80-piece orchestras happening all over the world all the time. So, it's just, maybe there is a bit of stigma surrounding it. And a lot of times when I tell people I play video game music on guitar, it feels a little bit like I want to go, but you don't really realize how cool video game music can be. Video game music is just music that happens to be in video games. And Alex Price, one day ago, at the buzzer. What was it about video game music that drew you towards it instead of staying steady down the path of traditional classical guitar pieces? If I would have followed that path, I feel like that path is like, okay, you're gonna be like a concert classical guitarist, and that is so much work that it's like I don't think I was prepared to be that good at guitar, honestly, because when you're in a sea of people who are playing the same piece, and you got to be the one to stand out and play it really, really, really good when so many people are so good. I think I'm so into video games and video game music. There's a thing in me that from my childhood that it's just always going to be a part of me. So it was cool merging those two and finding a little crossroads. But I feel like the more creative you can be, the less like technically good you have to be, because then you're just bringing something unique that no one else can do, that no one else is doing. So, good question. Who are your favorite composers, and what is it about them that really resonates with you in video game genre or other? My favorite composers, probably Chopin, Barrios, like I said. I love Punch Brothers. I love Chris Thile, as we've talked about. I love Debussy, totally. What really resonates with me when it comes to that? Dude, I don't know. It's less of a. It's hard to put words on it. The stuff that I really like. I just like interesting movement, I think. I like being a little bit surprised, not too surprised by the way something unfolds. I think it can't be too surprising, or else there's, if you don't establish, the listener, if you don't give them a home, it's hard to make them feel like they're traveling, if that makes sense. Are you looking to... Oh, and obviously as far as video game stuff, also, I love John Williams. I think he's just an absolute genius. Not the guitar player. The guitar player too, but more so the film composer. I think he's just an amazing composer. And I think underappreciated because he does stuff for movies. But just the amount of amazing themes that guy's written. Not just the themes, but just the whole compositions as a whole. Not just like some cool melody, but just the way they all work. Are you looking to compose pieces with more than guitar at some point? I have thought about that. I feel like that'd be really fun, but right now I'm just kind of focused on the guitar. But I'm totally open to that being a thing in the future. That would be cool. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Oh, and actually in school, I wrote stuff for, I have a quartet I wrote a thing for strings and woodwinds, and I wrote like a brass, actually no, it was like a woodwind trio. Yeah. And some piano stuff. Are you looking to compose pieces with, blah, blah, blah. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Just joshing you. I answered that earlier. When can we expect a full Sam Griff OG album though? See, that is like my favorite question, because that's really what I want to do. I got this whole big solo show that I got to play that I'm kind of terrified of, but I feel like it's important for me to do. That happens at the end of July, and after that I'm going to feel so free. I was writing a lot before that. I was doing like an hour a day of writing. Maybe that's not a lot, but to me that's a lot. So, hopefully when that's done, I can get back on that. And there's some cool stuff on the way that I'm really excited about, some new stuff that I'm really looking forward to. I haven't really been able to talk about that much. But that's it, guys. Thanks for sticking around for an hour, 1 minute, and 24 seconds for this Q&A, dogs. That's it. We'll do this again sometime soon. I still got to do some stuff. I got to do some things out here in Maui for sure. Got to do some videos. I got a song recorded, though, that I recorded right before I left, so I'm excited about that one. It's pretty cool. You're going to like it. But, all right, bro. Take it sleazy.